Action.
So, how did you and Crimeski first meet?
So me and Crimeski first met up at the studio that I was working at. I was cooking up a song with raw beats in particular, and he came in with an artist that he was working with at the end of my session. We chopped it up for like a little bit and set up a meeting for later to do one of my music videos, and grew from there.
So, how has it been so far, like having him manage your music career?
Honestly, like he's one of the ghosts up in Alaska for a reason, man. Like he's very humble about his shit. You won't hear him like actually like go like build himself up, but like it's self evident by the shit that he does, the work that he does. You know what I'm saying? So um, being able to have him as my manager has helped me specifically just because of the fact that he always helps me build what I need to do. And he never sugarcoats something that he feels like is important and something that we have to get done. Uh, and it's just been very beneficial, just all around. Like he keeps me humble too. Like if I ever
Yeah.
have a song that I feel like is crazy, he'll be like, all right, calm down, take it easy, relax. But like he knows the quality of he knows who he's representing, like, and he knows what he's doing. So he's a go. So
So, you said that you've been making music for quite a while now. So, what or who really like inspired you growing up?
growing up, see that's like a different answer to like just inspired me. Because growing up, I listened to a lot of different music, man. Like I started off listening to what my parents and like just my folks were listening to at the time, which was mostly classic rock shit. Um, Led Zeppelin, like Metallica, things like that, and also like Queen, things like that were just on the radio, but like in that type of channel. Um, but what inspired me specifically afterwards was kind of like that Michael Jackson stuff, like that I grew up on a little bit later in life, and I kind of found myself because that's not what my folks was listening to. And Usher and like R&B. I started off listening to that, and it inspired me to at least start freestyling with my friends, do something. And in high school, one of the very first artists that I really enjoyed listening to and gave me inspiration to go into a booth was Chance the Rap. I felt like he was very unique at the time. Acid rap was like one of the coolest things I heard. Cocoa Butter Kisses. Um, so yeah, it gave me kind of like that weirdo element that I kind of fuck with.
So, you said Chance the Rapper is like who inspired you when you were more like in middle or high school era. Who would you say like inspires you today?
That's a good question. I feel like I have stopped kind of like at a point in my artist career. I feel like I've stopped like listening to a lot of different artists, and like I kind of like I'm stuck in my ways. With with Chance and stuff like that, I did feel like he fell out of the sphere of music I'm listening to right now though. Like Juice World, um, honestly, is like the biggest inspiration that a lot of young artists have at this point, and for due reason, man. He was crazy. So I really love Juice. I really love Kanye. Kanye, even now, is still doing like weird stuff. So in a beautiful way. Like when I say weird, it's a compliment. Trust me. So
Yeah, it's really crazy how much Juice World still had in the vault, how much is still coming out, and all that stuff.
uh,
And then yeah, with Kanye as well. Kanye is he always takes these breaks and then comes back
exactly.
doing better than ever. Always something new. It's cool. Um, what would you say has been like the biggest hurdle trying to come up in a place like Alaska?
Platform. Off camera, we was talking about this before, but it's the platform that really builds an artist and really paves the way for them. There hasn't been too many people that have come up from Alaska that can showcase, their sound as an Alaskan specific sound. So we don't really have nothing going for us when it comes to the hip hop genre in particular. Um, that can really put us on a bigger platform when it comes to like the United States as a whole, or just even out of here. So always had to build my own like repertoire from out of country. So yeah, it's big. The biggest thing is platform. We need to build a bigger platform for us.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that I've always spoke on with friends and stuff like that, and is that it's so hard, like especially in Alaska, especially with I don't know, I don't want to be too rude saying it, but like egos. There's a lot of ego stuff that gets in the way. People don't really want to help each other. It feels like a lot of the time, but it feels like we're moving in a better direction
Right.
slowly.
Yeah.
It's slowly but surely.
It's like a crab barrel mentality, kind of somewhat up here. It's like if you once you start seeing like someone else go up, like you know, someone else will try to knock you down.
Yeah, rather than
There's no sense of like community, and like I feel like once we build a sense of community with music and like with entertainment in particular up here, then we can start to grow as an entertaining element in the entertainment world. I
yeah, no,
guess.
exactly. Um, so what did you originally like? Has music always been your interest? Like, what did you originally want to be growing up?
So when I was in kindergarten, I had this like questionnaire, like little thing. It was that exact same question, and like, where do you see yourself in the future, type sort of thing. And I I wrote down in my little scribbly kindergarten like writing, a golden Ferrari, um, dripped in all like craziness and things like that. Essentially, I was a bougie ass kid, and so I see myself and this is something that I didn't say before when we were talking about inspirations. Around that time with kindergarten, I did listen to Michael Jackson a little bit, and I remember saying something about like a moonwalk as well with that little like question that they gave me, like moonwalking like with Michael Jackson with my golden Lamborghini, like going crazy. So honestly, I have high hopes for myself, and I have high hopes for my talent, and I hope that it spreads throughout Alaska, and then hopefully spreads throughout the world. So the sky's the limit.
It's it's a great view to have for sure, especially great mentality to have. And speaking of future, what would you say would be like your future goals really in the end?
Right. So with my goals in particular, it's a little bit different because I'm starting off with what I know specifically I want to do and what I want to achieve. Um, what I want to do is make music for the rest of my life, and what I want to achieve with that music is just a stable income at this point. Like I do say sky's the limit, but future goals, you gotta have a consistency about you. So I my biggest goal in the future is to make a solid income strictly on my music. You know.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's definitely the goal. Speaking of kind of going back towards earlier, you said you listened to Michael Jackson and stuff like that. What would you say would have to be like your all time favorite album growing up?
Shit, that's a good question. An album that I listened to like top to bottom. I'm trying to remember like my first one that I listened to like top to bottom. Um, Weirdly enough, like what comes to mind is Juice World, but I know that that wasn't too long ago. But his first album that came out, I remember listening to it top to bottom. Um, but growing up though, I feel like Kanye's 808s and Heartbreaks as well. Like I don't think I've really paid attention to listening to it top to bottom, but I just remember there were some bangers in it for sure. So 808s and Heartbreaks is something that definitely paved the way for a lot of new age shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like a lot of artists a lot of them will reference like Kanye's earlier stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, most of most of it.
So in a day and age where everyone creates, how do you feel you stand out?
Mm, I mean, I have. one of the most unique backstories you could probably think of. A kid from Ethiopia moved into Anchorage, Alaska when he was 3 years old. Um, growing up in Anchorage and being adopted specifically, like not having the background that's like kind of typical. So I feel like I have a unique perspective on life and just how the entertainment industry has impacted myself in particular. Growing up like separated from it somewhat, because Alaska is kind of its own little separate thing. Uh, so uh, one everybody's creating, the best thing to have is a unique perspective.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and you definitely have one. I mean, it's it's definitely got to be such a big, you know, change, coming to a place like this. Like,
No doubt.
yeah. Um. So, do you remember the very first song that you ever made?
Yeah. It was called Mama. Uh, Mama, 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 I've been rolling. The spoken I've been going. Yeah, it was called Mama. I don't. It was too long ago for me to actually remember the lyrics, but uh, I was kind of basing it off of Chance's sound, because that's when I was starting to make music myself. Like I said, he was my inspiration to actually go into a booth because I loved his like little flow and his vocals were interesting and catching. So I started off with an inspiration where I kind of just copied and pasted like a chancy flow onto something, and I kind of made it my own a little bit, but I was really just a big Chance fan. So yeah.
So speaking of which, kind of on the same topic, like what would you say is like some of your favorite work that you ever done, like favorite song or video that you made?
Um, yeah, Crow's Nest, I would say, is like my. I feel like I put a lot of shit into that album in particular. We can't curse, right? Is that cool? Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, I put so much effort and uniqueness about my personal element on hip hop, and like every song is in that album is like semi unique too, but it all kind of goes together. I feel like that's my best body, 1,000%. Hands down.
Speaking of Crow's Nest, what was like the inspiration for the album?
So like Crow's Nest in particular, the name, I kind of like the idea. Like it's kind of stated in the intro a little bit, but a flock of crows is called a murder, and I wanted to kill the album. So and also we have a restaurant in Anchorage, Alaska called the Crow's Nest. 5-star like gourmet like nice restaurant. It's very very bougie, very very expensive. And I wanted to do something where it's like shining the light on something that's really cool. If you ever check out Anchorage as a tourist, you know, Crow's Nest is delicious. It was really good. We went there to celebrate for the album release.
So from Crow's Nest, what would you say is like your? Do you have a favorite song from the album, or?
Probably either Faithless or Nightmare. One of those two are my favorites. Rollout is really really good and it's slept on, but it's either Faithless or Nightmare.
Yeah, I definitely listened to the album a couple times, and those were definitely two of my favorites for sure. Um, I see you in the fit. You got the whole fit on today. Do you have any favorite designers?
I, when it comes to clothes, I typically go with whatever I just feel like. I be putting on whatever. Um, my guard. Okay. I be just putting on whatever. But I do have like some like go tos that I normally like look for. But I have some like go tos that I look for in particular. Like Burberry is something that I really enjoy because I feel like it's a very chic element. Um, I feel like Como des Garçons is a little bit slept on too, like with the shoes. I really like that like kind of that Wiz Khalifa esque element, but it's also you know still like its own brand. Um, those are the two I kind of look for, just like while I'm online shopping. And they're like semi cheaper too. On when it comes to like thriftiness, like I'll go thrift shopping, bro. Like it's just whatever I find that I enjoy.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I always say the brands don't really make the person. As long as they know how to dress, it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
But it's always good to have some favorites for sure.
Exactly.
Were there any, kind of on the same topic again? Uh, were there any like specific ones you liked growing up, like older ones?
Yeah, well, antisocial social club. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. I love the name. I love the title, kind of what it represented. It just fell off for sure. But if it hadn't, man, I would have been rocking with them forever. Yeah, probably continuously buying stuff from them. I don't think they have made like much craziness lately, but that was something I enjoyed. And then also another one that kind of like fell off a little bit, but was really big back in my day was like Bathe and Ape. I feel like I feel if I search through my closet, I still have like a couple like Bathe and Ape items somewhere. I just don't be wearing it no more really. But like those shorts, I still mess with. It was unique. Um, Other than that, man, it's just whatever I feel comfortable with.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that for sure. A big thing for me is comfortability, and then also the how would you say, the like genuinity to the brand, and then also the quality of the garment. The quality is the biggest thing for me.
Yes, quality over quantity. We preaching that all the time. So also want to shout out 49 State Brewery or 49 State Co. Particular.
So, do you have like a favorite experience you've had so far performing?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like some of my first few performances were my more enjoyable ones. The one we did out in at my Coots, where I was opening for that one artist, that was enjoyable. That was, I think, I don't remember much about it because I was very drunk, but I feel like that was one of the more enjoyable ones for sure. Um, um, People gave me a good response afterwards, so I know I didn't like do anything weird on stage or bad on stage. So I remember having a good time with that one. And it's as long as you can have a good time on stage, I feel like the crowd will feel it.
Yeah, for sure. I've also seen that you got to travel to other places for shooting some of your music videos. How was that experience? Like, was it more difficult shooting a video somewhere else, or was it, you know?
Well, so for shooting in particular, with Crimeski, we went out to Vegas this last time. Uh, and we also like do like little road trips, out by like forgot the area, but way in the distance in Alaska, like past Girdwood and all that, so like maybe like hour or two from Anchorage, at least. Um, I always find those enjoyable. Like I don't feel like I'm working when I make music. I know I am working, but I don't feel like it, and that's like something that is very important for a career. It's like you shouldn't feel like you're working and stressing yourself out too much with something that you're enjoying. You but I do remember there were a couple of difficulties when we were out in Vegas for sure, like hotels and stuff like that, because we thought we were set when we got there, but turns out that was not the case.
Uh, what would be like a piece of advice that you would give a young musician right now trying to make it today?
uh, just reflect on what makes you you. I know it's a bit cheesy, but like you know, when you're creating entertainment specifically, sticking with what you know, being your true self is always going to make an impact. Just is, even if it is the corniest thing on the planet Earth, but that's just a fact. Like, just be you. You can't represent someone that isn't you because you can't replace that, and you can't replace who you are as well.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of validity in being genuine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Um, What is something that someone has said to you in your life that's kind of stuck with you? Like something that you would say maybe you live by?
Um, so back in the day, when I was doing like solar panel sales down in Texas, you know, there was always the uh, the sales element of like talking to folks and like having that conversations while you were trying to pitch them like whatever you were doing out there. Like I was selling solar panels. Um, so some things that stuck with me are very kind of business focused, but like a phrase I guess that I want to achieve with every element of my life is like under promise and over deliver. Uh, I'm about to say if you can have like that ideal where you know aren't promising the world to someone and only delivering something small, or vice versa. You never want to be put in that situation. So being able to hold yourself accountable with those words is important. I always want to excel expectations.
Very well put, honestly. Yeah, it's definitely the best thing that kind of best mindset to have. What would you say is like the most difficult part of making music?
My damn producer when he gets drunk. Nah, nah, nah. I feel like the struggle is when you kind of are having like the a month or two where you're not feeling creative and you've lost like some creativity um without giving it your all. I mean, because there are months and times for me myself in particular where I struggle to like find the words into a song and actually like have that motivation. So make a long story short, I feel like motivation is a very hard thing to continue, um, and then also like you know creativity is also limited. It's very finite sometimes. Um, you can't be the most creative person in the world for longer than a month. You know, even if you created like the best album in the world, there's still going to be the next best album. It's finite.
Yeah, yeah, motivation, like what you said before too, motivation is a big thing for sure. Like I feel like getting up in the morning is like that first thing, like
Right.
especially how the army teaches everybody, they teach them that they got to make their bed every morning so that way they at least accomplished one thing. And I feel like there's really some merit to that, because like in a lot of things, because you gotta, if you get up in the morning and you start your day not doing anything, you're most likely not going to do much the rest of the day either.
Facts. And it's hard to do this type of job with your day job too. So even if you have accomplished something in your career outside of music, if it's not your main objective, it just feels like you're wasting time. So it's unfortunate, but like you gotta pay the bills.
Yeah. Are there any local artists that you really like or want to work with? Any specific ones, maybe?
Good love. I fuck with her. She's badass. Um, Good love specifically is one that I definitely want to get something worked on. We have made like something in the studio before. Um, hasn't come out yet. Has been mixed or mastered. Because I'm fine tuning based off of what she did. She killed it. Um, that's one person in particular. I make a lot of music with like the people that are featured in Snowed In. Um, there was a show that we did a while back where we have like this kind of concept of making a group out here, kind of like collective of entertainment and not just like music specifically, but like, you know, anything that can fall in line of in the entertainment industry, whether it's painting, art, whatever. I want to make a group called Snowed In, uh, kind of represent the North a little bit in that quality. You remember like the days where you were uh, like about to go to school and you get that call saying that there's too much snow, so school's canceled, you know?
Oh yeah.
So I want to give that sort of enjoyment with this group called Snowden. Also, I just like the name.
Yeah, kind of like a collective of creatives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's plenty of artists that I've worked with already that I would just love to rehash and do shit with, but specifically a new one that I want to like put something out with is probably good enough.
That's cool. Do you play any sports?
I used to. A little bit lackluster when it comes to the working out right now. But I used to play football. I used to play basketball, and I used to play soccer as well. Those three. I played football and soccer in high school, and I played basketball when I was like younger.
Yeah, I played soccer when I was in like elementary school.
Like that Pee Wee stuff.
Yeah, and I remember just taking the ball to the gut and just not having.
It hurts, bro.
Yeah,
But it's like soccer is a rougher sport than people think. It's actually the number one injury rate in all of sports is soccer. You'd expect like something like football, but that's wrong. You'd expect like something like rugby, but rugby is second place. Soccer is first. It's a tough sport.
yeah, soccer's crazy.
For
Um, how would you describe your style?
real. And it's kind of hard because it's always evolving. So I'm just gonna go with
Yeah,
whatever you think it is.
it's a valid
Art
response.
art is subjective. Whatever you think my style is, that's it. Probably right. Just listen to my songs. You'll know.
And then, how would you describe your style, fashion-wise?
Probably like laid back. Again, I throw things on. Hopefully they fit. I never know what I'm gonna wear like day by day. I don't have like my own stylist specifically. I just do what I do and hope that it works. And I think that it does because like I like to match the shoes with like the pants. You know, I like to have like a certain element, but there's no, that's always changing too. Because like what I was wearing back in 2016 is not something that I'm going to wear right now.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, fashion is one of those ever-changing things. It's always evolving.
Uh-huh.
I remember like color coordination being the biggest thing when nowadays, yeah, you want to color coordinate, but it doesn't have to be like, all red and then a black pair of pants is, you can
Exactly.
color
I was
coordinate
thinking
with.
of like using my off-white shoes with this like white shirt at one point, but changed my mind when I had the jacket. It just depends. It really just depends.
Yeah. And sometimes just throwing something together is the best way to create a fit.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, if you're trying to stick out with something like then do something crazy. You know, like don't just stick with what you see on the mannequin. That's my biggest thing. Don't just stick with what you see on the mannequin. Try to make something out of it.
Okay. So do you smoke?
Yes.
And uh, here's the big boy question: what wraps do you prefer to use?
Swishes.
That's very valid.
I say you can't go wrong with them. Yeah, Swisher Sweets. But I also like blunts. Just straight. I'll just buy it for the dispensary. A little bit more on like Crimeski and what we got going on. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we can do that.
with Crimeski and I, we have some plans in the future. When it comes to going out on a tour. Um, what we're gonna do is hopefully reach out to some venues throughout the US of A and get some small like venue things set up while we also just hunt down like bars and stuff like that where we can just perform. Um, we'll probably be gone for like a full month doing that and then come back up here. The goal is to like solidify like a lot of good media presence and get the name out there. So I feel like we already have a lot of like good quality like content that we put out. But this will be definitely a unique challenge for us because it'll be just me, him in the Sprinter van. Possibly the producer that I was talking about before, Tyler. We're hoping that we can get him to commit like a month to do that. I talked to him about it last night. Um, and it'll be my first like little tour. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that should be awesome. Are you guys planning on getting any like tour merch in line for that or anything like that?
That'd be interesting. Me and Crimeski have like a different take when it comes to style, when it comes to fashion. You keep saying that simple is cool with my brand, like the Kaleab Kinfu logo. I want it to be a little bit different. You know, the Kaleab Kinfu logo, I get like Supreme did that. You know, like it was super simple, basic box, and they made buku amounts of money. But simple is not me when it comes to like clothing. You know, I like to throw weird stuff on and try to figure it out. So I'm hoping that we can kind of like have an even balance when we have like a conversation about what we want to do with merch later on in the future. Like a good ground level area where it is simple, but like also there's definitely unique elements.
So, did you want to plug anything? Did you want to tell people anything where they could find you or anything new that they need to go look?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I feel like I definitely want to shout out Crow's Nest, that album. Like, I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that. I felt like it was definitely represents who I am more as an artist than my last few albums. You know, I was still trying to figure out my style. So now it's a little bit more solidified with Crow's Nest. So definitely go check out Crow's Nest on Apple Music, Spotify, essentially anywhere. By Kaleab Kinfu, KaleabKinfu. And then future music is on the way, where we are cooking it right now. We've done some shows. Just stay tuned. This is Kaleab Kinfu, reporting live from Anchorage, Alaska. Let me know if you have heard the Crow's Nest album. If you haven't, fucking listen to that shit right now. Let me know what y'all got going on next December, or this December for holidays. Make sure to comment, like, do all that jazz. Hugs and kisses.